In this lecture series of object-oriented programming with C++, today we are going to discuss about different features of object-oriented programming. So here some features, 7 number of features we have described, which are very important features. So the first one is object. So object is nothing but it is the basic runtime entity in the system. Basic runtime entities in the system or in the application. They may represent a person, sometimes they represent a place or any table, matrix or anything which is included in that particular application or particular system. So each object contains data and function related to the particular application, and here this object, they communicate with each other, they exchange information with each other, interact with one another when program gets executed. So like a students and teacher, they share information. If student is a object and teacher is a object, and they will exchange information. Teacher may ask for a particular marks from a particular student through some of the object oriented mechanism. So another feature, next feature is classes or class is the another feature. So it is a user defined data type. Basically it is a user defined data type which contains the entire set of data and function of an object. So in short we can say that it is a collection of similar type of object, and a class may contains many number of objects. So one or more or number of objects can be created for a particular class, and the object must be similar with each other, their type. And For example, like if animal is a class. If animal is a class, we can say that lion is an object. If fruit is a class, we can say mango is the object. So lion has some of the properties which belongs to this animal class. Lions has some data, information, functions which contain within itself and that particular to animal class. Similarly, mango is also one object which belongs to a particular class, fruit. So these are some of the example for classes. Next feature is the data abstraction and encapsulation. So data abstraction means only some essential features of a class will be visible without disclosing all the features or all the whatever present in a class. Only essential features will be visible in the form of some attribute and function. So this is known as data abstraction, whereas encapsulation is basically here the data and functions are wrapped together or tied together, which makes the data hidden from the outside world. And this kind of insulation particularly known as data hiding or information hiding. So this is also one of the very important features of object oriented programming. Fourth feature is the inheritance, and inheritance here, object of one class acquires the properties of another class. Many classes are connected with each other, so one class may acquire some properties from other class, may inherit some properties of other class. And here the main motive behind this inheritance is to share the common characteristics of classes with one another. And most important advantage of inheritance is reusability. Reusability is the most important advantage. And what is reusability? So reusability is without means alteration of original features or details of a particular class, some other information can be added, and those information can be reused. So this is the meaning of reusability here. So all these details we will discuss in the later video lecture. So these are some brief introduction only. And next feature is polymorphism. So polymorphism, basically it is a Greek word, polymorph. It is coming from polymorph. Poly means many, morph means many form. So more than one form can be exist. So here it is a Greek terminology, as I said, and it is basically the ability to take more than one form. Like for example, if arithmetic is a function, that function may calculate the addition of two variable, or it may calculate the addition multiplication of two variable. The same function will act differently. So this polymorphism, basically it is of two type. One is our function overloading and another is operator overloading. And next feature of OOP is dynamic binding, and it is also otherwise known as late binding. So here what happens, in dynamic binding, it links the procedure call and the setup code when the call takes place. The linking part it performed. So basically, it is operated during the runtime only. And next, the last feature is message passing. Here in message passing, what happens? The objects communication takes place. How they will takes place? All these things will be handled by this object message passing feature. And communication between the object is done through this message passing basically. And for example, like if I have written here object dot function, so here the object is related to a particular function, and inside that function we are passing some of the information here, and they are operated through the dot operator. They are connected through the dot operator here. So here a message of one object is request for the execution of a particular procedure or particular function. Like if student 1 is a object here, and student 1 object demands for the CGPA, total CGPA, so some information will be passed inside the function for the particular student. So this is some small glimpse which is described briefly about the features of object oriented programming. All these features will be described individually in the later video lectures. Thank you.